So here are the sort of situations that you might find yourself in out on the golf course. I've got a 60-metre shot over a bunker. I'm in the semi-rough, the ball's sitting down a little bit. It's not terrible, but it's sitting down a little bit. But the big factor that's really going to make it difficult to get the ball to stop is the fact that the green's tilted away from us. It's downhill. So all of these factors are stacked against us when we're trying to stop the golf ball. What's going to happen here is I'm going to get some grass trapped between the club and the ball, and that's going to reduce the friction. It's going to reduce the spin that I'm imparting on the golf ball. Whereas from a tight lie on the fairway, I can get better contact with the ball and therefore impart more spin. But anyway, we're here now, so we're going to have a go. It's about a 3/4 sand wedge. I've got a 58-degree sand wedge here. So I got over the bunker, and then it's kicked on, run over the green. So that's typical. Now, the other thing that I did there is I was using a hard golf ball. We'll get into equipment in a minute. And I was using an older wedge. But the conditions really made that difficult for us to get the golf ball to stop. Some grass trapped between the club and the ball, and that's going to reduce the friction. So you see how important it is when you're thinking about your layup shots as to what sort of shot you're going to leave for your approach shot. We're on the same hole, but a completely different shot here, a much easier shot. I'm further back, I've got 85 metres to go, and this time I'm in the fairway, so I've got a tighter lie, and I'm going to be able to control that spin much more easily. The other thing here is by being further back, I can generate more clubhead speed through impact and therefore impart more spin. So I can be much more aggressive, and let's see how much stoppage we can get on this green. Just to the right of the pin, and then we can see much more spin into it. I'm still landing on the downslope there, but because we've imparted more spin, we've got more speed through impact, and we've got more friction between the club and the ball because we're on the fairway, then we're imparting much more spin. So on to the equipment difference with those two golf shots. So the first one, let's start with the golf ball. I used a Strixon distance golf ball. It's a hard golf ball, two-piece. I don't think they even make them anymore. There are lots of two-piece hard golf balls out there that are built for distance. And you can even hear the difference between a hard golf ball and a soft golf ball. The second ball I used was a Strixon Z-Star XV, which is a tour ball. It's got a thinner, softer cover, and we can definitely impart a lot more spin on the tour ball. So here's the rock, as we call them, and you can hear it on the face there. It's very hard. Go to a softer ball, a lot duller sound, a lot softer cover on the Strixon Z-Star XV. Now, there are plenty of great tour balls out there that you can use that you can impart a lot of spin on, but obviously they're more expensive. And it used to be the case that you either went with the softer tour ball that spun a lot but didn't go as far, or you used the hard two-piece ball that went further but didn't spin as much. That's not so much the case anymore. There are plenty of good soft balls out on the market that aren't particularly expensive. Strixon do the Ulti-Soft ball, which is a low compression, soft cover golf ball, so you can achieve plenty of spin with that. Titleist do the Tour Soft. There are plenty of affordable soft golf balls out there. In fact, I don't really see the benefit in using a hard two-piece ball anymore. So you're not gaining much distance with it, and you're definitely losing some control into the greens and the ability to spin. So that's the cover. It's not just the softness of the cover, but also how thick it is. So the tour balls do have a thinner cover, so you can impart more spin. So that's the balls. Let's have a look at the club difference now. So first up, I used an old Titleist Vokey wedge. It's a 58 degree. But if we have a look here, we can see that it's worn. I've got some dirt and grass and some moisture there. All of those things are going to reduce the amount of spin imparted on the ball. So not a lot of purchase on the golf ball, not a lot of spin. The second shot I hit there was a fairly new Cleveland RTX Zip Core wedge. It's 56 degrees of loft, so a couple of degrees less loft. But here's the big difference here. We've got sharper grooves, newer grooves that hasn't been worn out yet. It's only been hit a few times, this club. So that really helps us to impart a lot more spin on the shot. But when talking about technique, basically it comes down to three things. The speed that we're generating through impact, the angle of approach into the golf ball, and the amount of loft that we're using. We definitely want to focus on good contact, so that shaft angle is important. We don't want to try to get the shaft vertical or behind here because we're going to possibly hit that grass first. Yes, we'll get plenty of height, but if we catch any grass first, then we're going to reduce the friction that we impart on the golf ball. So we definitely want to have the shaft slightly forward at impact to make sure we get good contact. That's really key. And we've got to make sure that we're using plenty of loft. You're not going to achieve as much spin with a pitching wedge as you would with a sand wedge. If you're reducing the amount of loft into the shot, then you're not going to impart as much spin. And as I said before, you're definitely looking for as much speed as you can achieve by being nice and soft through impact. That's the real key here, soft hands, so that we can get that whoosh happening through impact. If we can generate plenty of speed there, then we can impart a lot more spin on the shot. Felt pretty good. And back it comes. Probably too much spin for that spot. And that's what we need to achieve here, is the right landing point depending on how much spin we're expecting. So spin isn't always a good thing. If I'm hitting into a back pin and I've got a lot of spin on the ball, then I'm going to be finding it very difficult to get close to that pin. It's going to land up near the pin and then spin back to the middle of the green or even the front of the green. So the sorts of pins that you want to achieve a lot of spin on are ones tucked behind bunkers and front pins like we have here.